Good morning, everybody. It's Marty the JavaScript Party. My buddy Rhett. Make sure my microphone's in the right spot. There we go. That looks good. And I have an almond for Rhett, which is her favorite kind of nut. So here you go, girl. That's that. And it is Friday. It is 8:37. I have work in 23 minutes. So here we go. Here we go. So the application basically, we're moving through it, and I am doing a refactor to sort of address deleting in general. And the problem is that as part of the refactor, I ended up breaking a feature. And the feature is something I wasn't even thinking about, right? That's what happens, right? You work on stuff and you work on different features, and then you decide you want to do something, and next thing you know, you're not even thinking about that feature, and then you break it, and then you don't check it for months on end, and then all suddenly it is, um, you're in a bad spot, right? Like you don't know when it broke, it doesn't work, you don't even remember exactly how it used to work, and that's a problem. And fortunately, this is the first project I've ever done this in, but I have end-to-end testing, and so it immediately flushed out this bug. Now, in the process of working for the bug, working on the bug, I did run across another sort of like a, a programming only bug at this point. It doesn't have any, um, it doesn't sort of, you can't see it in the code or in the features, right? The features all work, but the intention of the code was that, like, basically, if you're in this mode here, with the reflow turned off, which I believe will be my default in the future, um, and you hit add, add, the last one does not seem to ever get um, marked as um, that it's been manually placed. And manually placed is sort of a flag that I have that, for me, programmatically means that, hey, don't calculate where this goes, just put it where it says it goes. Now, I do have this other thing that says, hey, if this is check mark is on, basically, then go ahead and reset them all and set the viz manual placement to true. Um, and really, those are the only two. It's an all or nothing kind of thing. They're either all physically placed, or they're all placed based on what they're told, or they're based on what uh, or they're based on where they belong, except for the case in which reflow is off and it hasn't ever been set. Then it's going to guess. It's going to do its best guess at where it should go. It's not just going to put it at the top. Maybe it should just put it like here if manual is off. But anyways, so there's that. So I need to update things so that manual placement on the last one is true. I believe that's right. I'm not 100% sure, but and I don't understand why this isn't happening, because it seems like once you get here, if um, manually placed should be end up being true basically for everybody that doesn't already have a manual placement. So I guess this is how I kind of turn that on. So, like, if manual placement is true, then it's false, then go ahead and calculate the next thing. But if it's true, then put it where it belongs. And for some reason, that last one is never becoming true. I think at least that's what I was doing. Now I do figuring out yesterday's. Now, technically, probably what I could do is, like, add one little line of code to make sure that it is set to true. Um, I was thinking this morning I could probably do like else and then set manual placement to true, but that probably wouldn't work, because then it looks like I forgot about the third case where it hasn't actually found a place yet. We are in reflows off, but it hasn't found a place yet. But like you do want, I am very, very good at making these like little quick and dirty fixes that end up fixing things. And I was trying to figure out why. Why is that? Why would I ever develop that skill? And the reason I developed that skill is because because most of my software development has been in the enterprise. And in enterprise software development, you can like make the sort of theoretical argument that, hey, if we roll out some code and it's broken, you could just roll back. That just is not practical in most enterprises. And the reason it's not practical is because generally your rollout goes along with other things. Um, and there's like a dependency. So normally what will happen is maybe like you have uh, a front end and it's rolling out, and now your backend also has changes that rolled out, and maybe they're in different repos with different teams. And so you still need to support that backend thing. So you need a quick, dirty fix, and then you need to create a bug to say, hey, let's go back and fix this thing correctly. Um, that's just the reality of things. Another very, very common thing would be like maybe there's a physical event happening and you need a bunch of the other code that comes with it, and it supports that other code, and that event is happening on a specific calendar day period. That happens a lot. Another scenario is that the bug has been there for months and months and months and no one has noticed it or reported it. I've definitely worked in places where we had like really easy to get along with customer base, right? Like the customers themselves would go above and beyond in any way, shape, or form to work with you and make the project work for them. I once worked on a place where we made like stuff for preschool kids to play with and like coloring. It was like zip files that had a bunch of different things that the people would that the customers would then download, and then they print them out for the children to play on and stuff like that, like for daycare type of center and stuff like that. And those people just like they loved the product so much that like they wouldn't complain about anything, no matter how broken it was. And so something might be broken for months, and then rolling back just isn't an issue because you might have already had 4 or 5 other things move forward. Um, there's just a million reasons why it may not be practical to just roll back. But this is a situation where I don't have that problem. I don't have anything in production. I have no reason not to just fix this thing correctly the first time. Um, so I think what we want to do, maybe I'm even wrong because it seems like, well, it's weird because they do come back. Um, I wonder what the dog is barking about. So I'm going to do this console.log. Now, only the husky is the only one barking. Usually the husky barks when it wants to play with something. Um, we also have a German Shepherd, and that German Shepherd will bark when something is wrong. Uh, so the German Shepherd is not currently barking. The German Shepherd is relaxing on the bed, and um, the husky is barking. So my suspicion is he just wants a toy, like maybe there's a toy he can't get to, or something like that. But let's see. Visualization. Okay, so our visualizations get passed in. So all right. So let's see what we get here. Now, I don't know. Something I don't feel super confident in, like they're doing some stuff in Angular that for convenience, right? So it makes things work better. Um, or it's easier to develop, especially like it will update your styles and things like that. But I don't know how if I feel confident about it picking up JavaScript changes and stuff with whatever new stuff they're doing. Definitely, they're going in the right direction for sure. This is exactly what we want in the long roads, but there's always so manual placement is false. And if we look in here, what we see is that manual placement is true. So you may be curious about that. I don't know if you've ever noticed that before, but we are printing out all the visualizations here, and there's only one, and this is saying that the visualization is false. So why is that? And I think what to that this gives me an opportunity to sort of point something out that's um, pretty like was a big eye opener. I think I can go like this: JSON. I think you have to JSON dot stringify visualizations. And this is like kind of like it changes over the years. It's not always accurate. And then there's some conditions in where it may not play out the way exactly like we're doing it here. But I'm going to add. I think we didn't even have to do that, right? So we hit add, and now says my belief is that, yeah, see, we have manual placement is equal to false, but if we open this up, it's manual placement is equal to true. And that is when I first ran across this issue, it was very, very confusing to me. And that's the thing is that the console does not print this in real time. It when you open this up, it actually shows it um, the current value. And I don't really understand the details of that, but I do know that when you do like something along these lines, console log viz visualizations, um, when you do something along those lines, what happens is you end up with um, it's not the value when the code ran here. I don't know what exactly is going on, but as you can see, they are not the same. This is showing manual placement is equal to false. This is showing manual placement is equal to true. This is saying manual placement is equal to false. So obviously, when this line of code was processed, this is not what the value was then. Um, and It can be very, very confusing. Now, a lot of times people are like, well, just stringify, just do a JSON stringify. And this is another example of where it's just not quite practical most of the time. And the reason that's not practical is because normally there'll be an object will have some sort of reference back to itself within there or back to another attribute within itself, and JSON stringify will fail. Um, but anyways, yeah, so if you actually want to know what the value was when this happened, you need to do a stringify or only print out the attribute you care about or something like that, but you need it to be a primitive value. If you want to know what it is when you go look, that's why you do this, which to me is not great, but that's just how it is. But anyway, so let's go ahead and add another one. And let's go ahead and turn reflow off because that's the scenario we care about. And I'm hit at second one. Now, I think, so it's showing that, well, okay, this is weird. Visualization ID is 8. Oh, okay, so visualization ID was 8. I must have done a delete. Um, and manual is there. And now what I would hope is that when we look in here, that this is the current value. So for viz ID of 8 is true, which I think is absolutely expected. Oh, okay. No, wait, wrong one. Oh, and for this one, it's true too. Okay, so I was wrong. It is, in fact, setting both to true. So I don't know. I was looking at something weird. Um, and so let's see if we add another one and see how it says that the left is 200. Now the left is or 0, And then for this one, the left is 200. So we add another viz. It adds it into the right place. And we open this up. And left is 400. So this is exactly what we're kind of expecting to happen. But where it breaks down is, so let's go ahead and close that, is when we delete this one. As you notice, it didn't even get into here, which I don't think it would in the table view. But I'm going to close this. And now when we come back over here, this thing should have a manual placement of 400. But it obviously doesn't. And see. And somehow this last one ended up getting back to false. So when I deleted, and it's weird, you know what? I don't think I deleted the right one, right? Because, oh no, that's not right. So every visualization, well, the ST visualization shouldn't be changing. Okay, so I think we may have run into another bug. When I go, okay, so I believe, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe when I go here, I have an STID visualization ID of 8. Now, I know that in my visualization itself, that the actual physical visualization, and actually I think we may have broken this. The actual physical visualization is, or the DOM element will change, right? So when I go over here to, let's close this, edit. Okay, so it ended up rerunning this, right? So let's go ahead and look. Oh, see, our ST visualization changed, and that I don't think it should. So I think we're deleting it when we're not supposed to be deleting the actual visualization. We're just supposed to be deleting the we're just supposed to be deleting the DOM element. Or maybe it's actually no, that's not true. It's not the visualization. It is. Let's look at our interfaces. ST. Oh no, the visualization is what sits at the top. Oh, okay, then we have this 3. No, that's the visualization. I don't. Oh, am I looking at the? Yeah, I am looking at the interfaces. Oh, 3. I did open the right one. Oh, renderer sits at the top. Okay, so for some reason I had gotten in my head that the very top thing is, well, is the visualization. Okay, so I'm really, really confused. Okay, so does a visualization have a renderer ID or does a renderer ID have a visualization? Okay, so this has a renderer ID. So this is the very, very top. And so I guess, yeah, the visualization. Okay, so now I'm seeing, so I kind of had a breakdown at the structural level, at the architectural level. So I kind of tied visualization to the little DOM element and all that, which that has to change all the time. But the thing is even though the DOM element changed, this stuff needs to stay the same. So I think I need another um, layer, right? I need like a component ID is what I need. And the component ID could change. But the the visualization ID should stay the same. And this is pretty crazy because so we need to add component ID because and it's an ST because this is not like uh I think you could easily think that this is and I think it should be required. It should be number -1 if I don't have one. Um, this is wired straight into the system. Like the whole system is like built on this foundation. So we are literally, it's like if we built a house and we had built a foundation and now we figured out, oh crap, we have to go put plumbing in. We forgot to put plumbing in. So now we got to rip out part of the foundation and re and set it up again. That was just a terrible, terrible mistake. Definitely a terrible mistake. The and this is one of those things like when you work, you probably don't want to say that because it'll kind of freak out people that don't really quite understand programming and stuff. So you're like, it's a terrible mistake. They don't realize how often terrible mistakes are made. Um, like when you're a executive vice president and you say, oh, that was a terrible mistake. That in many conditions means that like people died. Right? Like it's really, really bad. But like when you're a developer and you made a terrible mistake, that means that you have to work like an extra 4 hours on something. It's just a totally different. Terrible mistake means something very, very different to people who are receiving the message than to people who write code. But anyway, so this was a terrible mistake. I have no idea how hard it's going to be to do this refactor. Um, because this is a foundational level error. But anyways, so I guess that is what we'll be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 1st of October, November. And today is Halloween. So if you're in the States, and I don't know what they do in other countries, but and I do know that the vast majority of the people who watch my show only I think it's like 3% of all people that watch my videos are from the United States. So, you know, I apologize if for some crazy reason to me it seems crazy, but if for some reason this is offensive to you, I hope not. But yeah, tonight is the night that children dress up in scary costumes in the United States and go door to door demanding candy, and if they don't get their candy, then they may or may not come back later and vandalize your home. Now, not the vandalism it's very rare. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And they will often, what they generally do is they take toilet paper and they throw it in all the trees around your house. Or something along those lines, something that's just a real pain in the butt to deal with. But that is kind of the how it works. It definitely works to different degrees in different places. Like in some places, like they will trash your house, and other places, they won't. They'll just do that. Oh, I don't have the power on in my computer. But anyways, I need to log off. I gotta go to work. It's time for work, and happy coding, everybody. Bye.